Has epigenetics opened the window to this? In fact, the fact that our genes respond to thoughts and emotions and relationships and social interactions, that every experience we have is kind of put, in a sense, turning certain switches on and certain switches off that regulate our entire biology.
Absolutely. I think that the field of epigenetics and its connections with some of the practices, if you will, the spiritual practices, there are just a few studies that have been published in this area, are really starting to challenge this notion again that our body-mind is a static thing, that in fact it's increasingly dynamic and malleable, and that our state of consciousness can actually modify that more instantaneously than we realize.
Biology is different in different states of consciousness.
Exactly.
I was even thinking that if you can make this leap, I wrote a book in 1988 called Quantum Healing, which was vilified by mainstream medicine. I'm redoing it now with Rudy Tanzi as he's doing a preface to it. But the basis of that was that your biology can take quantum shifts as your consciousness takes quantum shifts. So quantum shift is in classical quantum mechanics, it's an electron moves from here to here without going through the space in between. It's here, now it's here, it didn't go anywhere in between. But let's say I give somebody bad news. Okay, I say, there's a financial crisis and your stock went down by 90% if you lost all your savings. As soon as they get that information, their blood pressure rises, their cortisol goes up, their adrenaline goes up, their platelets get sticky. And then a minute later I say, actually that applied to everybody's stocks but not yours because you had these different stocks. And in fact your stock went up. And now suddenly they're making dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin and opiates. And there's no real connection between what they were making as cortisol and now what they're making as dopamine. It's a quantum leap in consciousness.
That's a great way of putting
and
it.
it's a quantum leap in biology.
Not to kind of put a downer on the conversation, but in thinking about what you're saying, I'm struck by this tremendous opportunity that we might have, and where people are talking quite a bit about the effects of early life trauma on the physiological system. So here's where you can see, for example, even one very severe traumatic event on a child is the same as continued combat in the war zone.
That's right.
And it really, there is something about, if you will, the energy behind a particular event, if it's very intense, that can freeze a system into a particular steady state, let's say. And so one of the questions that we have, as clinicians have, and I just want to say those effects are profound. They're linked to mortality down the line and disease states. I mean, the person is literally frozen into this steady state of maladaptive physiological functioning that has been created by that incident.
Available on CuriosityStream. Watch premium factual shows at curiositystream.com.